everybody, welcome to Wine Library TV. I am your host, Gary Vaynerchuk, and this is The Thunder Show, aka WLTV, the internet's wine show. That's it, we're just the show on the internet. Really excited to be here, really excited to talk about Bandol. Bandol is an area found in the region of Provence, town, not an area, in Provence, and which is actually right on the outskirts of Toulon, which is very famous actually for its French naval bases, really kind of a big city, so maybe some of you old school maniacs have served there or been there. It's a very interesting area, and the wines from Bandol are very special to me. I'm actually embarrassed that it took this long to put them on the Thunder Show. Now, the grape that is the presence of Bandol, kind of like Malbec is for Cahors, is Mourvedre, which you're more familiar seeing in the Rhone region if you're familiar, or Matato as you know it in Australia, but the Mourvedre is the king and the main component to most of the wines in Bandol. By law, Mourvedre needs to be at least 50% of the blend. The other grapes that are allowed by law are Grenache and Cinsault, and to a lesser degree you see some Syrah and Carignan. So it is an area that is really just lovely, and really profound, massive wines come from the very tannic, bold, huge wines, and really some of the best wines in the world. I mean, I'm just so pumped to have Domaine Tempié Bandol 2005 Classique here. One of the first wines that turned me into a wine lover. Now, it was about 15 bucks, 13 bucks then. Now it's a $27 bottle of wine. But more importantly, these are wines that every serious wine drinker needs to seriously consider to put into their palate, their mouth, once or twice in the next 6 to 12 months, and make sure you experience Bandol, because I'm very excited about these wines. They're very serious wines, very food-friendly wines, wines that age for a long time. There's a lot going on with Bandol, and let's get into the first wine, the Galantin 2004 Bandol. This wine is 90 points from Neil Martin, who writes for Robert Parker's Wine Advocate now, I think on the website, but maybe in the book as well. He used to be a very famous European wine blogger. I have a lot of respect for Neil. This wine is $17 US and is 95% Mourvedre, but 5% Cinsault. So, you know, predominantly the grape that dominates the region is in this blend. It's also a very well priced Bandol, being at $17 US. So the phone is ringing. Let's see what this wine has. Let's give it a little bit of a sniffy sniff. Now, the one thing I'm noticing on the nose quite heavily is a distinct leather, cherry. I almost feel like it's a cherry, and it's got like the leather mask that, what's his name, had to have? Hannibal Lecter. It's like, I feel like I bit the head off of Hannibal Lecter, even though his head was a cherry and he still had the mask, so I'm getting that leather component coming through as well. There's a little bit of, you know, barn stable going on here, a mix of hay, wet horse, and poop, definitely coming through a little bit on the nose. But it's subtle. I mean, it's definitely rounded out with some really nice dark blueberry components on the nose. But yeah, there's some barn yard in there, so let's give it a whirl. 17 bones. Wow, really, really good. Serious thunder from this Bandol to start the show. One of the more impressive, don't forget, just a day ago I tasted 140 wines and constantly tasting a lot of wine. One of the most impressive mouthfeels on the initial attack. I can't wait to re-watch this and see that first facial expression I gave, because I'm taken back by how weightful this, is that a word? How much weight this wine puts on your palate. It really does feel like you're almost eating instead of drinking. Very powerful, very luscious, very dark, tight tannins. Blackberries coming through. Again, bacon fat, which I adore, coming through on the mid-palate transition flavor, going into a silky, smooth finish with some rough edges. It got real silky, and then right at the end, it kind of, shakes you up a little bit. But that's fine. I think that's showing its youth, its baby fat. I think it'll become much more focused. This is a serious effort to start the show. These are supposed to be, superior wines. So this show is starting to lend itself and organize itself as one of the best overall shows in a long time, because this $17 beauty is coming out. I'm going to disagree with Neil. I think Neil's being a little tough on this. I think this is a 92-point effort. This is an extremely solid bottle of wine. I'm completely taken aback by it, and I'm loving it. McDonald's? This is serious juice, my friends, but if you're not prepared to accept the nice, dark, explosive tannin structure that this wine puts in your mouth, and you don't like a little dry mouth, then you're going to need to avoid it. However, if you're serious about wines and you want to explore and you want a great example of a quality Bandol at $17, given where the euro is these days, this is a screaming steal in my opinion. Man, if we can even out that dollar, we're going to enjoy a lot more value-driven wines here. You cannot do a show, you cannot talk about Bandol. As a matter of fact, by law, if you don't mention Tempié, within the first 13 to 15 seconds when you talk about Bandol, you get arrested by the Bandol police, and they make the Oak Monster seem like the nicest person you've ever seen. You might have noticed, if you rewind, I mentioned Tempié as we just started the show. I think actually they give you a minute, not 13 to 15 seconds. Anyway, this is a gold standard producer. He has some upper scale single vineyard efforts. This is his regular standard classique 2005, 27 US dollars. I have not put a Tempié Bandol in my mouth in a long time, and I'll be very honest with you, my mouth is angry and pissed at me. It sent me a memo via text, and that's why we've got this wine on the show. Because this really, my friends, the Vaniacs out there, I've got to tell you, is one of the best producers within a region that is producing tremendous wine. And, really, if Bandol was like Bordeaux, this would be a $400 or $500 bottle of wine now. Creme de la creme. Capiche? That is how big Tempié is in this area. And you can see by the color, starting off really nice and radul, my new word, rad plus cool. R-A-D-O-O-L, radul. Please use it often. When you do, zap me an email. It will make me smile. This wine has beautiful, gorgeous color to start. Let's give it a sniffy sniff. Now this is coming much more with a white pepper attack on the nose. It also has some really interesting hints of like curry coming through on the nose as well. I also get a hint of like, I want to go barbecue smoky, but it's almost like, you know how you do like a barbecue pit and then you like put out the fire and there's like just a little smoke going on. It's like, it's over, right? It's like you missed a party. That's what this smells like. I feel like I missed the party. It was like the biggest barbecue of the year and you didn't invite me? That's how devastated I am, because this wine has lingering effects of a fantastic barbecue. Like the one Will Smith was in Summertime. No, what's that? Yeah, that's what's going on here. Let's give it a whirl. Nice raspberry attack. I also get a very beautiful smoked salami kind of component on the mouthfeel. You like the smoked salami coming through on the mouthfeel, which I like quite a bit. There is a nice round flavor of blueberries. You know what it really tastes like? It tastes like when you go to IHOP, it's got all those different like top, syrups. It's got like 13, but they all look like you don't want to touch them, right? Not right? I mean, you go to IHOP, it looks a little seedy and shady, but you still want to try the raspberry supreme or the strawberry. But you pick up the blueberry, and you only take it like that, and then you got to use Perel afterwards. But you pick up the blueberry, and you pour that syrup in your mouth. That's what this tastes like. This is like really obvious blueberry syrup, little smoked salami, and the pepper is coming through a little bit. A little awkward, a little disjointed, might be a little young. I'm going to tell you something. Not in the ballpark of the Galantin, and that blows my mind. Not only that, look how cheesy the label is on this. But boy, it's good. And that's why you can't buy by the labels. good, solid Bandol, but I'm going to score this wine 88 plus points. I really can't go much higher. It's, at $27, I'm going to have to give it a pass. The Bandol police, you got to be careful. I'm going to give this wine a pass with 4 Z's. Okay, sorry. And that's it. I mean, Kermit Lynch is the importer, one of the great importers in the wine industry history. Great producer, but I've got to be honest with you. It's nice, it's solid, I liked it, but boy, pales in comparison to the wine that's almost half its price and a far lesser known pedigree wine. And that's why, my friends, like we talked about yesterday, you've got to try different. I mean, I would have made this mistake. If I went into a wine shop and I saw these two side by side, hands down, I would have gone with the Tempié because you go by pedigree. But you know what? I mean, you can't do that. I mean, let's be honest. Sean Kemp, he's got pedigree, but you don't want him on your basketball team. That's how it kind of is. Domaine de Terrebrun, 2004, Bandol, 14% alcohol content, $27 US. Another small producer, another Kermit Lynch product. Got to give Kermit Lynch a lot of credit for spending clearly a lot of time in this area. 27 bones. Who knows? This could be Tempié in a different label. Let's see what it's got. Again, really, really nice color. Not too shabby whatsoever. Let's give it a whirl. First, a sniffy sniff. I think this is a good time to talk about the widget contest. I know you're tired of me saying it, but there might be thousands of people watching for the first time. You want to be my co-host? Click the widget contest over here. Fill it out. We're having the drawing next week. You're running out of time. Some people are making blogs just for it. I saw one guy created something like 1 in 1,000. That was really cool. Just people doing really cool stuff. But and you can use any website. Saw a couple more lawyers and landscapers putting little Ask Gary Vaynerchuk or links on little badges on their site. So you don't need just a blog. Any site that you control, your domain, you own it. You've got the keys to the front door. Put that badge on, and you can be flown out here to New York, and then come out here with me to New Jersey, take the Thunder Show, be worldwide famous, and we'll have fun. You can beat up Mom, but he'll whip your face. Anyway, back to this. Let's give it a sniffy sniff. This also, very common in all of the wines, a very interesting blueberry component that I'm really intrigued by and enjoying. This one is the tightest of the bunch. Not coming through as much on the aromatics as I'd hope. Let's give it a whirl. Great viscosity, great polish, nice mouthfeel. It's pleasant in your mouth. I feel like I'm having a pleasure in my mouth. So I like that. Almost like a cloud. It's like, or biting a rainbow. That's what I feel is going on. Dry, it really puckers up your palate. Good firm tannins. This is a structured wine. It's more of a masterpiece. I think bolder. Whatever that means. I gotta go to a psychologist and figure out what all these things mean. Boulder. It's got, remember Rockman from He-Man? It was like a rock and they'd open up the guy. Anyway, this wine reminds me very much of a very structured, tannic, tight rock of a wine. Actually, if it tastes a little different, I would think it was a Tanat. It feels like it's way, way too young to approach this wine. Actually, all Bandols actually have a lot of length. The Mourvedre's got really great tannins and backbone and structure in this region of France. Once again, man, Provence wine's really doing a number. Very impressive. Very disappointed with Tempié. Like this wine, but it's really not giving me enough flavor. I mean, I get a little bit of celery root. I also get a very interesting sense of broccoli. And I also get a very bitter, I really feel like I bit a bee or something, like an insect kind of component, which I know is going to turn off a lot of people. I'm hoping that this is a wine that really needs 5 to 7 years to really come together, open up a little bit, like a beautiful flower, and show you so much, like an awkward teenager, and you know now that they are mature and you're proud of it. That's what I'm hoping for this wine. But at this point, at this moment in time, with 2 or 3 hours breathing in the bottle, this is not a wine that I'm going to be able to recommend. I'm going to score this wine 89 points. There's a little bit more going on there that I like, but this is just classic, because I got to tell you, I surely knew what this was, and I've heard nothing but great things about this, but I had no darn clue what this is, and I give Neil Martin a lot of credit for giving it a score, which is probably what attracted our buyers to bring it in. 17 bones, and just, you know what, let me go back to it. That might be fun, right? Let's go back to it. That should be something I should do more often. I like that. Go back to it after tasting the others, giving me another sense. Maybe my palate was fresh, you know, there's a lot of things you can say. Let's see what happens. This is good, man. There's a initial, I didn't catch it before. Let me just, maybe I should do this. This is pretty cool. There is a little initial spritzy component, almost like a seltzer splash on your palate that I didn't catch before. Maybe my tongue is just getting all tannicked up, but understand that. But that doesn't really deter from what this is. And just a really good effort. Really serious wines. I'm a big fan of Bandol. I'm really disgusted with myself that it's the first time we put it on the show that I can remember. Mott. Anyway, question of the day. Bandol, have you ever had one? And don't lie. And if you had, what have you had? Because you, with a little bit of me, we're changing the wine world. Whether, you know what, before I finish this, lurkers, give me something. Please come out of the closets. So many people watching the show, so few leaving comments down below. The ratio is breaking my heart. We're changing the wine world, whether they like it or not.